Well, hey everybody, and happy Wednesday. It is Wes McDonald here with my good buddy Ken Edmonds. How are you, Ken?
I am fine. How are you doing today, Wes?
Hey, no complaints. As we were talking about, as we were getting ready for the show with our guests, we've actually had snow here for the first time all year, which is strange for being Canadian, eh? And it's pretty. It hasn't had time to get all gray and yucky yet. So, living La Vida Loca and loving the fresh snow. How about you?
Well, it's a cool rainy day here, but no snow, and I'm happy with not shoveling snow. I lived for 10 years in Wisconsin. I shoveled it, and the city and I had a kind of running battle about where the snow belonged. I thought it belonged in the street. They wanted it in my
City,
yard.
not so much.
But so I'm enjoying the a little bit warmer weather. For this week coming up, we've got some 70-degree days, and I can deal with that.
Yeah, I would take it, man. I'm telling you, like, I work remotely. I've been working out of a home office forever, but I have these little nightmares called children who I dearly love. I'm only kidding, but they have school and friends and other things, which, have us stuck here, right? But Leslie and I are both sitting on the gas pedal going, when those days are gone, where are we going to be, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and hey, for everyone that's joined in with us today, thank you very much. You know that we do these every single week, and we always talk about things that are exciting and current in the industry. And today I'm really excited. Obviously, you can see down below on our banner today that we've got the logo for the Executive Connection Summit. So we've got a couple of guests today which are going to help us talk through that. One of the first things I'm going to bring up, excuse me, comments and questions. If you have them, throw them out there. So if you're watching us on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube, you have the opportunity to join the conversation. So we'll keep an eye out for the comment section. Anytime you have something there, you let us know what you want to ask or any comments that you want to give. And so, Ken, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guests. I've worked with both these guys.
You forgot the question we always ask.
All right.
Okay, so I have to know, where are you watching from?
There you go. Which part of the world?
Yes, exactly. We are an international organization. We get people from around the world that join us. And about half the time I'm sitting somewhere else. The beach behind me today is in my office, but a few weeks it'll be a cruise ship I'll be on when we're talking.
Nice. So remember, folks, if you're out there, let us know where you are from. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guests. And the first one I'm going to introduce, Mr. Mike Stramaglia. How are you, sir?
I am doing fantastic, and thank you for the invitation to join you today, Wes. It's always fun.
Hey, absolutely, brother. And it was really good to see you at a show towards the end of this year, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you at ECS come January. So thanks for being here. And Mr. Gavin Williams, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. And again, thank you, Wes, for having us on.
Absolutely. And speaking of which part of the world you're from, Wes McCarter says he's in cloudy Arizona. Well, that can't happen very often. So good to see you, Wes. Thanks for tuning in. And Gavin, I know before the show you were talking. Where are you located? Because most people would think you're actually with Mike. Right now.
No, I ran. I'm back in Montana, so been running the snowblower all week. But I'm heading to Arizona tonight, so I'm looking forward to it. Even though it's cold and rainy.
Yeah.
Better than freezing in snow.
Hey, let me ask you a question. Is that normal this time of year? Does Arizona get, quite a bit of rain in this season and clouds, or is it? I don't.
No, we only get it because Gavin's coming.
Oh.
He is bringing it.
It never ends. Now you know why I moved back to Montana.
Oh, that's great. I'm glad I'm in Canada. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start bringing up the page here. And one of the first questions I'd like to ask you guys is, I think most people know this, but I want you to talk a little bit about what it is and why it's important. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to try and post up a little bit of a picture here. There we go. So, Mike, maybe you can start us off. What is the Executive Connection Summit?
Well, we started the Executive Connection Summit about, I guess it was probably about 9 years ago now, when we were MWA. And we realized back then that there needed to be an agnostic kind of formula, getting together, people who are looking at future technologies or strategies, and frankly, how do they drop down into today's world? Well, the logic was great back then. Obviously, we went on hiatus for a few years. Number one, we sold the company to Konica Minolta. Number two, COVID hit. And then I started my company. And so if there was ever a time where the Executive Connection Summit adds a value, it's even more so today than it was in the beginning. You know, the world has changed so much. So what we did is basically we recreated the event almost like it's on steroids, meaning you've got COVID, you're coming out of a pandemic, you've got supply chain issues, you have all these monumental challenges. And frankly, January looks like a breakout mode for people to get together, networking, talk about new products, talk about new challenges, talk about new success stories, and frankly, inspire the industry, hopefully a little bit, that next year we're going to be on, we're going to be on fire. We're going to try and light it up and go into the new year with some extraordinary presentations. We've got Microsoft, we've got Intel, we've got some of the greatest dealers in the country that are joining us. So I personally, the Executive Connection Summit hits on two things: technology and humanity.
Yep.
How do we bring those two things together? And that's the mission.
And I've always loved that about your show, is that it really is much broader than, just quote unquote the office equipment channel, right? That you've always been very good about bringing in innovations and things that are going to help dealers to adapt. And let's face it, one of the things that I'm really, really thankful for being in this channel is that we do adapt, right? And by putting those options in front of them, giving them some ideas to think about, to help each other, go through this, right? And you can see Dave Proda is on, and he says, great to see ECS back. Promises to be one of the best ones yet. Oh, and Wes is there we go. Born and raised in Montana. So you got one there with you, Gavin.
Yep.
And hey, just for a second, I'm going to scroll down. I see some very unique speakers, some great speakers in the lineup, and maybe talk a little bit about, that, right? Because they're not all industry speakers that are in our channel, but they're leaders. So maybe you can talk a little bit about how you sort of organize this and get people involved.
Yeah, and again, I'll kind of go tandem with Gavin on this, but the logic behind Executive Connection Summit is to bring a cornucopia of input and knowledge, just constant sharing. So you can see we have Tony Golobich, excuse me, Tony, from Great America. Why do we have him? Well, Great America is Great America. Everyone understands them as a leasing company or collaborants. But what they also are is this whole IT focused and adjacent market focused business. And that's what we want. We want to focus on the business. We want to hear from Tony what Great America is thinking about, where they're investing, why they're investing. And then you look at the other folks. You've got some great guys here. Sean Phillips, he has a adjacent market business, and he's very aggressive in pursuit of whether it be, and whatever he's doing with his KPIs and trying to bring CRMs or, e-commerce into his business. He's an entirely different business, but the model's the same.
Yeah.
And by the way, he's also 11-year NFL MVP. So he played. So that's why we're taking him, talking to him about how did you go from gridiron MVP to boardroom MVP. And so it's we're bringing fun. We're bringing talent, technology and fun.
Well, I can't wait to see Tony again. I still remember the first day that I met him. I'd gone down to visit Great America and was obviously being taken around their, office, looking around and stuff. And then when it came time to meet, Tony, I expected to go off into the side office and stuff. And no, he was in a cubicle just like the rest of his people. So he popped up his head and said, "Hey, Wes." It was amazing, right? That he's, as much as he is a visionary, he's also, just a very humble team playing kind of guy, right?
Absolutely. And he's going to wrap up the Executive Connection Summit with a phenomenal presentation, of which I'm going to try and keep it a secret until you hear it. But he's going to deliver a real punch at the end, and it's fantastic, I can tell you. And the other quick thing before I let Gavin kind of share his view of some of this too. When you think about the Executive Connection Summit, it's also about products and technology. So we created the Consortium West. And if there was ever a need for dealers to look at new solutions that can recapture revenue, bring new profitable growth, we're delivering that. Our partners are going to be there. Everyone's going to have an opportunity to look, well, how do I replace 25% of my top line? How do I do that? And so that's the connection part of ECS and the consortium.
And I love that. And it actually, I did have the banner there. Why is ECS back? Right. And I think that's a really good reason for it to be back, is that what you've done with these technology providers and this consortium is to give people these options, these expertise that are tried, tested, and true in the marketplace. Right. So pretty excited to see some of the new ones that you're going to have there as well.
Yeah. And Gavin, you might want to spend a few more minutes on some of the partners and what you're seeing. You're talking with them pretty much every day, but we've got some great companies.
Absolutely. And just going along the lines of keynote, one of the keynotes is a gentleman from Microsoft that his focus at Microsoft is artificial intelligence. So Mike mentioned the recapturing of revenue, and that's something that's new for our industry, but well established in the enterprise markets. Technologies that can help dealerships mitigate some of the pressures that they're seeing today, whether that's automation through processes using artificial intelligence, or artificial intelligence for just even people management. So the consortium has established partners not only in our industry but from successes in other industries that have a direct impact on what we're doing in the imaging channel.
Absolutely. And one of the things I love about hearing about that, and I've heard this from both of you, right, is that there are revenues that we're simply not going to get back. There are those that accuse our channel of being status quo, that we're have our head in the sand, that we're not doing the things to adapt. And events like ECS and the work that you guys are doing out there in the industry, and I would say the work that Ken and I are doing out there too, trying to transform some of the way people deliver managed print, there's no head in the sand. We are attacking these problems head on. And what I love about it is it creates opportunity, right? And that's one thing about ECS that it's always done, is created opportunity, giving people new things to look at for that revenue generation. And I'm certainly very excited about that, right?
Yeah, 100%, Wes. And I can't be any more excited or frankly emphatic about this. We have some of the greatest names attending. We've got Marco, you've got VET, you've got Larry White, you got Mike Marusik, you've got Microsoft, you have Intel, you have Avalara, you have Predictive Insight, you have all these various companies. And their one mission is to support this industry with new ideas, new products, new solutions that everyone can make money with. Everyone. Yeah. So, our philosophy is make money with the industry, not off of the industry. And there are plenty of critics in the world. There's plenty of critics in the world, and criticism really doesn't deliver anything. So creativity, good business intelligence, application. And by the way, how about a positive attitude?
It's free.
Right? We're going to kick butt in 2022. And that's just not overstated optimism. That's someone with 47 years worth of experience in an industry that's gone through everything and then some. So why am I hopeful? Because I see these products. I see what they're doing. And frankly, the alignment between the dealers saying print is not coming back, right? Now, it's not going to die tomorrow, but it's not coming back. No, and it's forcing the hand.
Yeah, I love it. And, all of the dealers that I've worked with in the last year, the innovation and the things that they've been doing to step forward and take advantage of opportunities has been amazing. It inspires me. I have not had a single conversation with anyone in our channel where they've just been complaining about what's going on, right? Like, oh, woe is me. It's like, nope, we had to roll up our sleeves, a little tough at first, but here's some of the things that we're doing. And oh, wow, we've had some real success with this. And in 2022, we're looking forward to trying some of this, right? Like, we really do live in a channel of really entrepreneurs and innovators, right? So, and ECS is a great example.
And by the way, and we're not foolish, we're not ignorant. We understand the supply chain issues. They're very real.
Yeah.
But the yin and the yang of that is, the fact is, it is real. And if you didn't invest in IT, or you didn't invest in M&S, or you're gonna do it now.
Yeah.
So turn it into a positive.
Absolutely. Looks like we do have one more comment coming in. Oh, one of my favorite people in the world. What's going on, Jenna? Let's go. Yes, will be the best one yet. I can absolutely not wait until January. Well, really good to see you, Jenna, and can't wait to see you live and in person in January. And hey, just to remind everybody that you can ask your comments and questions through the chat window if you're watching on LinkedIn, YouTube, or Facebook. Put comments where you would all the time, and they'll show up here for us to to be able to share and join the conversation. So make sure you do that. And we're kind of when we talk about why we're hopeful for our channel as well, I just want to throw in another little kind of nugget here, right? That when it comes to opportunities, the ones that we think of for either managed IT or cybersecurity or some of these other things, I believe too that, and obviously everyone believes this, that we have to diversify in some forms, right? And Gavin, what other examples have you seen in the industry of that, where people have really just stepped up to the plate and said, yeah, this is what's happening, but I'm not going to let it take us down?
Yeah, so in talking with the dealers, there's been a lot of focus on, as Mike mentioned, the managed services aspect of it. And just in the consortium, we have a member tag that really focuses not on the what you're selling, but how you're selling. How do you maximize the revenue? How do you managed services is nothing new in our industry. The issue has been, how do you make money with managed services? And like Tag, they really right set and focus on maximizing that revenue. And maybe not every customer is the right customer to take on a managed services contract, but it's things like that. Audio visual, another big market. Some people have kind of played with it, but again, we have a member in the consortium that's their focus is audio visual. So it's the whole point behind that consortium is you introduce new technologies, but also introduce very similar revenue opportunities to help make up for some of those challenges that we just don't have a lot of control in. We can't make machines magically appear, or tone or produce itself, right? So there's other ways though to mitigate that decline in business.
Agreed. And Ken, looks like you had something to add there.
Yeah, I was going to say it was because a couple of weeks ago I had Daryl Amy on my podcast, and we were talking about the fact that the typical imaging dealer has such a small percentage of their customers' technology spend. And in fact, he made the statement that that a company could not add one new customer. If they just increase their penetration in their existing customers, they could double or triple their business.
Absolutely.
So if I could draft behind that, you raise a really important point, Ken. So when you look at the opportunity, why am I hopeful? Why am I excited? Well, in chaos, all the chaos is aligned. Leasing companies like Jenny and Great America, guess what? They're aligned. If the machines aren't there, they got to do something. The dealer, if the machines aren't there to sell, they got to do something. It's all aligned. So it's a kind of a perfect positive storm. Our mission is basically just to sort out the storm. That's it. We're gonna be the compass, if I can say it that way, the navigation system to help everybody. We're not geniuses, but what we are is, we've got a great attitude about it. We're partnered with some of the finest people you'll ever want to be partnered with. And by the way, not for nothing, but a plug, kudos to Great America. If they didn't step up to the plate immediately, right, I would never been able to pull this off.
Yeah. What a great organization. And just like that, right? And I've said that to people as well, that anytime that I've done things in my professional life where I needed some, help, if they believed in it, they were right there. It didn't take 6 weeks to make a decision. It took 3 hours, right? Like, really, they support this industry like no other. They put their money where their mouth is. They innovate. They help deliver solutions way beyond just a finance rate. They are an incredible, group of people. So, no, plug them all day long, Mike, because I will too.
And if I can just draft behind Ken a little bit further, we have a history as an industry looking at the distribution as the endpoint sale, right? So it's the beginning and the end point. We're reversing that right now. We're saying it's wonderful if a dealer will buy a product and use a product, but the win for everybody is providing solutions and all of the affiliated, assets that go through the dealer and through the distribution. And for every dollar they get in a copy or print world, there's 100 that we can access together and provide better products and services. So Ken, you're right.
One of my favorite guys to watch in the industry, I don't know if you follow Forrester Research, Jay McBain. He's been doing a lot of research on the channel and on kind of how it's been evolving this ecosystem. And to your point exactly, Mike, what you just said is that there's so much opportunity in shifting how we interact with customers through that model that what we may have looked at as the endpoint is only the beginning to a whole bunch of other dollars, right? So yeah, pretty exciting. But like you said, you don't have to be the smartest guy in the world. What you have to be is the most insightful guy in the world to realize that when you bring all of these people together, then those opportunities are going to become much more visible than they ever would be on our own, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I see the value in the consortium is bringing that thought tank together, those trusted partnerships to be able to start looking at what these new opportunities are and helping us all to capitalize on them, right?
100%.
And hey, listen, folks. So questions for our guests, just to remind you that we are going to be moving on pretty soon. So if you got any specific questions for Mike or for Gavin, this is now your opportunity to present them in here. And just leave your comments as questions, and we'll make sure that we bring them up for discussion. And as we're waiting for some people to ask some questions, I'm just going to bring up the screen share again for a second, because there's one hidden secret for those that have never been to ECS, and it's one of the best aspects of being there, and that's the Valley Ho Hotel. This place is unbelievable. So if you've ever been to an ECS event, you've been to the Valley Ho, Mike, I think it's the best venue on planet Earth for hosting these kind of things, right? What a gorgeous location. I'm thrilled you're doing it there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a phenomenal boutique-y hotel. It's got a whole rat packy thing, the Sinatra thing I like, so I'm going to go with that. And Wes, we've polled people in the past, all the attendees, and we asked them if they wanted to change venues. So I'm glad that you brought it up, because never have we had a push to leave Valley Ho. It's fun, it's beautiful, it's convenient. And by the way, the Executive Connection Summit, as you know, we keep it intimate. This is not really a trade show, it's a knowledge show. So 150 to 250 people is basically all we want. And again, props to the dealers who are coming and the consortium, because they're coming on fire. They're lit up. They
are. So we've got our first question here, and again, for those that are dialed in, just leave your questions in the comment section. We'll bring them up. Doesn't matter if they're easy, hard, or indifferent, and we'll read them through for you. So Earl Philpott says, we've been in the industry for years and have always heard that print is dying, but like most, it's how we make money. I keep looking for another product or service that we all can do that works in the bigger part of making money at it. Looking for the ECS in January to see what some are doing. So Earl, I think that's great, and certainly look forward to seeing you there as well. I've gone for years and cannot say enough good things about it, right? So anything else to add there, guys?
Yeah, well, two things. I'm thrilled that Earl and Rena are coming. I follow them on LinkedIn. I love his walks in the morning, and I love his suspenders, and I love his attitude. So I would tell you, Earl, that's exactly why we exist. We provide options for people to look at. And like I've heard Prince dying for the last, I don't know, probably 30 years in my career. So it's still not dead. I don't see it dying, but absolutely your attitude is right. You have to find additional revenue streams to take care of your client and your business. And Earl, I promise you, I'm going to look for you and Rena, and you and I are going to have a great conversation.
Well, that's awesome. And hey, I've got another one. This one's from Jen again, and it made me giggle as I was going through that. But she said, will you have beer and nachos in the exhibit room again? Well,
yes. Yeah. So thanks for the help, Jenna.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, Jenna has told me for the last 18 years that working for me is really, really hard and it's painful. And she says she speaks for Gavin and everyone else. So
All
Jenna,
the
yes. So
Good.
I would tell you, Jenna, yes, we're going to have a very special showcase there. There will be adult beverages and other snacks. So very good question.
Nice. And we've got David Derspon says, can you tell us a little bit more about the consortium, and will attendees have an opportunity to meet and learn more?
No, actually, we're going to put all the consortium members in a quiet room on the side so they don't bother anybody, because that would be rude. So yes, David, there will be there throughout the agenda. I will have most of the microphones. So I will be introducing consortium members en masse and independently. We have 2 sections in the agenda, basically for the consortium to be exposed and obviously conversant. The consortium, basically, if I can just sum it up, it started with the intent to provide some answers for dealers that were asking me questions on a routine basis once I started Stromelio Consulting. And so the reality of it is, I realized, and Gavin and now Hero 2 and everyone, we all understood that the need for us to provide literal contact, literal training, literal products, literal relationship building had to happen. So we started the consortium and it led to ECS. And now they're just basically coming together. And again, consortium is, as of today, 31 different members. And you could, if you think of 3 slices of a pizza, one slice is technology and innovation. The other one is knowledge and training, right? So essentially you're going to get both. And the third one is the product itself. Where are we going? Where's the innovation long term? So we'd like to think that we're addressing the dealer needs, meaning their needs, as well as their end user. And the consortium people are a fantastic group of people, and you're gonna get a chance to meet all of them if you can come to the summit.
I love it, and I love the idea that trying to satisfy both the dealers and the customers, because at the end of the day, we wouldn't be anything without them, right?
Well, and Wes, if I can just add one thing that maybe Mike could expand on that, is really different with the consortium is we have a dealer advisory board, right? And it's 15 of the most successful dealers across the country. And they have input into all of these things. So it's not just, here's a bunch of different technology. This is success, right? And how do we put these things together to create more success?
Absolutely. And a great point there by David, a nice add, right? That, the challenges we're facing are not just in our channel, that they are across all verticals in the business world, right? So I can tell you, thanks for raising that, David. My wife's actually in retail. She's a retailer. And believe me, they've had their challenges as well. I've got friends that are in the transportation industry. Believe me, they've had challenges as well, right? So it's a really good note to say it's not just us. Yeah.
Well, and Wes, excuse me, Ken, I apologize. David happens to be an adjacent market consortium member. Nice. So that's why I'm having a little bit of fun with him. So again, what we're trying to do is deliver a consortium that is not contained by just the imaging channel, but it has to meet the needs of the end user and adjacent markets. David has a wonderful business, and he is a consortium member. He's a phenomenally gifted human being, highly professional, and a great example of how we can leapfrog, into these adjacent markets. And I'll promise you, the dealers are going to look at what he's doing, and they're going to think, wow, that's a model that works for me too. So, David, thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, really excited to meet you there, David. And Ken?
Yeah, I was just going to say, and one of the things that in our channel we have an opportunity to do, and this is where the real opportunity for our channel is to help our clients identify their business problems and then help them find the solution that works for them. If it's a solution we can provide, great. When I had my dealership, there were times I would point customers to solutions that weren't mine. I wasn't making any money on. But it's about helping the customer, because the more you can help the customer and the more you can provide them, the longer term and the stronger your relationship is.
It's all about the customer. I love it. And hey, I do have one thing I want to jump into. And for all those that are asking questions, please continue to put them in the comment section. But I do want to make sure that we talk about this. And Gavin, you brought it up a little earlier, but Tag National, super excited about something that's happening towards the end of ECS. This is something that's new, and it's going to have a real impact for dealers as well. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. So, TAG has a very proven methodology when they're discussing the opportunity with the dealers, and that either is dealer visiting them or them coming out to visit the dealer. But what a great opportunity to be able to do this with everybody coming in. So on the Wednesday following the end of the show, we're going to have from 8 to 2, TAG doing their dealer assessment as a group, and it also allows other dealers to discuss among themselves as they're going through this process. But it's just an amazing success story as I've gotten more involved with TAG. I've talked to some of their existing partners, their dealers, and I got to tell you, the universal message is these guys saved me money and grew my revenue.
Yeah, everyone I talk to, every dealer I talk to,
just by assessing what they're currently doing, not even adding new business. So, I mean, it's a tremendous success story and opportunity.
I agree. And for all the dealers that are tuned in and watching either live today or watching the recorded broadcast afterwards, as Mike mentioned, there's probably 20 to 25% of our revenues which just aren't coming back. And it's things like this, these efforts with partners like Tag National that can help us to get some of those dollars back without a lot of heavy lifting. So I strongly encourage dealers, and I'll be reaching out to you. I'll be bugging you to make sure that you're there for that part of the event as well. So guys, we are starting to wind down. I cannot thank you enough for joining in with us today. I'm super excited about being there in January. I'll continue to do my part to make sure that we get some other folks out there as well. And just so glad that it was, reborn after, having a hiatus for a couple of years, Mike. So Mike, Gavin, great job. And make sure you congratulate Hero on it for me as well. And for everybody else on the show. So we'll see you guys again. Thanks again, Mike, Gavin.
My pleasure, and happy holidays, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas to everyone.
That's great. Yeah.
All right. Be safe, be well.
Merry Christmas to you as well if we don't see you. All right. Super excited, Ken.
Yeah, a really interesting conversation, and again, it's consistent with what we see when we talk to everybody that's taking an open-minded look at this industry. We talk to dealers on our in our 10-day challenge that had actually grown their revenue, where the copier side of their business was a smaller side. Not that their copier side had decreased. In fact, a lot of times their copier side increased, but at the same time, other things were starting to surpass that. So we're talking about really looking at the opportunities to grow a dealership and to really have huge success.
For sure. And our flat rate offering can help. So one of the things I encourage people to do, the flat rate challenge, we charge for that, but you can get it for free. And Ken hates this part, simply by joining the Managed Print Services Association. And membership at the MPSA is free for 6 months anyway. So you were getting a double deal here. And as we like to tell people, the 10-day challenge has everything you need as a dealer to start your own flat rate program, period. If you want some help from us, we're happy to give it, but it's all there and it's free. Just make sure that you do the right thing. Join the MPSA, work with organizations like the BTA and others to help drive this industry forward. It's our obligation, and it's a ton of fun, and nothing makes me feel better. So find out more about that. And until next week, remember, keep it flat, keep it fun.
We'll see everybody.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Okay.